Dear viewers, stay tuned for another Cryptoverse weekly report. After a fantastic week for crypto that brought a new price record for Bitcoin and the growth of the entire market. And what is a catalyst? Of course, the victory of Donald Trump in the presidential election in the US. However, although it was expected that the new term of the old president, who positioned himself as pro-crypto, would lift the market, hardly anyone predicted such a quick and strong jump of BTC to a new all-time high. Bitcoin thus soared to within reach of $77,000, and now the leading cryptocurrency is in the so-called phase of price discovery, the phase when there is no resistance level from the point of view of technical analysis and when it is possible for the price to really explode. Today, among other things, we bring you Bitcoin is going to a new all-time high during the weekend, analysts predict. US spot BTC ETFs on Thursday saw their biggest inflows since their launch, removing a whopping $1.37 billion worth of Bitcoin from the market. Alts trump BTC, Ether and ADA woke up, Sol jumped $200 and climbed above BNB. On the other hand, Doge is growing on the wings of Elon Musk. Will Trump really be a crypto president? We remind you of all his pre-election crypto promises. So, let us start the report. Interestingly, Bitcoin did not even wait for the announcement of the convincing victory of Donald Trump, and it was already at a new all-time high, above $75,000. That happened on Wednesday, just after midnight Eastern Standard Time. This information is interesting because it means that the jump took place at a time when there was no trading of ETFs, so even though the stock exchanges were not working, someone was buying and pumping up the price. The question therefore arises whether retail has woken up. Is the time ripe for the real crazy retail FOMO that carried crypto through the bull run in previous cycles? Despite expectations that BTC would undergo a correction due to profit-taking after reaching the record as everyone was in profit, the leading crypto continued its upward path, only to stop at a new all-time high above $76,000 on Thursday. Most analysts expect that the price of Bitcoin will continue to rise during the week precisely because of the revival of FOMO, that is, the fear of missing out, the fear that BTC will only go up. Of course, although Trump was the main catalyst, the Federal Reserve's decision to lower interest rates again, this time by a minimum of 25 basis points, certainly gave a tailwind to the growth of the entire market. Additionally, the Bank of England also cut interest rates by 0.25%, while Sweden's central bank cut interest rates by half a percentage point, confirming the expected jump in global liquidity. Meanwhile, American spot BTC ETFs, which have been the most significant engine of Bitcoin growth since the beginning of the year, on Thursday recorded the largest inflows since their launch and removed an incredible $1.37 billion worth of Bitcoins from the market. In other words, it is about 18,000 Bitcoins that were snatched in one single day. As a reminder, after the halving, only 450 BTCs are mined per day. So, if the buying continues at this rate, there really won't be any Bitcoin left on the market for anyone who wants to have it in their portfolio. This is supported by the formation of national strategic reserves of BTC for the United States, one of Donald Trump's promises to the crypto community, which, if realized, would not only require the purchase of huge amounts of the leading cryptocurrency by the US, but would most certainly start a wave of similar moves by numerous other countries around the globe. So, Bitcoin to the moon. Simply, everything speaks in favor of it. Now, what that moon actually is remains to be seen, but it really seems that BTC has definitely come out of the months-long consolidation and entered the strongest phase of the cycle, the parabolic one. And then, as a rule, the price only goes up with occasional minimal corrections. Of course, it doesn't really have to be that way, but the increase in global liquidity, monetary easing, the increasingly strong interest of institutions, the awakening of retail, and certainly Trump's election should really launch Bitcoin towards a six-figure price. The price of Bitcoin has been consistently above the old March 2024 peak of around 73.7K for the past few days, signaling that the bulls are in control. If it manages to stay above 74K in the weekly time frame, the next big goal will be six figures, potentially before the end of this year, and at the latest in early 2025, many analysts suggest. As things stand, this shouldn't be much of a problem unless there is a major sell-off, as BTC has recaptured the 76K levels at the time of making this video. So far, Bitcoin shows no signs of overheating. In fact, the huge trading volumes, primarily through ETFs, are a clear signal of continued positive momentum after the election. It seems that investors are more inclined to take risks and wait for some new peaks than to take profits. And this is not only the case with BTC. The alts have also exploded. Just look at this week's gains among the top 100 cryptocurrencies. The list of winners is led by Nairo, Kronos, Radium, Athena, and Aave. If we look at the biggest ones, we should definitely highlight Cardano's ADA, which with a 24.5% growth overtook TRX and once again positioned in the top 10. Finally, we get to see ADA move. Doge also grew strongly, over 18% on a weekly basis. Of course, thanks to Elon Musk, who in the Trump administration should take over the Department of Government Efficiency, the English acronym for Doge, of course. Musk will certainly not miss an opportunity to further push his favorite crypto every now and then. Solana also grew by more than 18%, breaking through the very important resistance line of $200, primarily due to the expectation that now, with a new man in the White House, its ETF is quite probable. It is also very nice to see the sleeping giant Ethereum awakened, which jumped 14% and may about to start its breakout. As you can see, the green is everywhere, and alts have well outpaced BTC's gains, perhaps suggesting the start of alt season. And the reason is simple. Investors expect the new administration to bring pro-crypto regulations and legislative clarity. Namely, unlike Bitcoin, which is fully regulated, alts are still in the gray zone, that is, under the possible watch of the regulator, specifically the Securities and Exchange Commission, which in the last term launched a whole series of lawsuits and enforcement actions against numerous crypto companies. The alleged crime was mainly the sale of unregistered securities. If the new administration, that is the legislator, Congress, defines what crypto is, investors will enter into alts much more strongly because there will no longer be uncertainty. So, will Donald Trump really be the crypto president? It will take a few more months before the first concrete steps are taken. So it's not a bad idea to recap everything that Trump promised to the crypto community. His first move, he said at the Bitcoin conference in Nashville, will be to fire the disliked head of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Gary Gensler. In addition to the symbolic significance of this move, this is important because the SEC, under Gensler's aggressive attitude and interpretation of the law, and through the so-called enforcement regulation, strongly attacked American crypto companies whose compliance costs due to such a policy exceeded $400 million. $400 million that could have been invested in development. Whether Gensler wanted to stifle crypto, whether he is acting under someone's influence, or simply really believes in regulating the sector according to existing securities laws is unknown, but the departure of the current head of the SEC will be greeted with acclamation in the world of digital assets. That's for sure. It should also be said here that it is unclear whether Trump can even fire Gensler without cause, although the common practice is that SEC chairmen resign, allowing the new administration to choose a successor. Furthermore, the new old president promised not to allow CBDCs, to support the Bitcoin mining industry in the US, and to advocate for the right to self-custody. And perhaps the most resonant promise was to establish a national Bitcoin reserve. We should not forget the announced release of Ross Ulbricht. Ulbricht is the creator of Silk Road, a marketplace on the dark web that allowed any user to sell anything they wanted in exchange for Bitcoin, including illegal products such as unregistered weapons or drugs. Ulbricht was arrested in 2013 and is currently serving 2 life sentences plus 40 years, without the possibility of parole, for his role in founding Silk Road. Ultimately, Trump, in his own style, promised to make the US the crypto capital of the world. And indeed, if he wants to, he can achieve that quite easily. First of all, through legislative solutions, especially considering that the Republicans will, by all accounts, hold the majority in both houses of Congress. A new Senate with a Republican majority could be key to passing the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century FIT 21 Act, which passed the House of Representatives earlier this year. The most important thing is that there is legal and regulatory clarity and that the crypto industry in the US continues to develop. Then there will be new, high-quality projects, use cases, and companies which can only benefit the development of the world of digital assets and one of the most promising of the new technologies, blockchain. Trump actually promised all kinds of things, and very soon we will see how much he will actually fulfill. And so, with all-present Donald Trump, we have come to the end of another Cryptoverse weekly report. If you liked the video, please give it a like, leave a comment, and we would also greatly appreciate if you click subscribe. Thank you for following, and kind regards.